Hi, I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio, and welcome to the Mayor's Roundtable, a semi-roundtable, intelligent conversation bringing you, the citizens of Berkeley Heights, information to be informed with your mayor, Robert Woodruff. Well, Mayor, we got a great show coming on. It's all about
the parade.
You got it. It's the parade show. We're getting ready for the Memorial Day parade. We have lots of great information about the parade, about the dedications, and the whole ceremony around Memorial Day. But before we get to that, it is the Mayor's Roundtable. Let's back up and let's recap some of the things from the last show and what we can expect between now and next month. So last time we had a lot of information about redevelopment. There's some very important dates coming up. I don't think we've hit them quite yet, have we?
No, we have not, Doc. And in particular, the redevelopment with respect to the ordinance to be passed on this property will be addressed by the council on next Tuesday.
Okay.
All right.
Just about when this is getting aired.
That's correct. And that deals with this particular property. It will then go to the Township Planning Board, tentatively scheduled for June 1st, and the Planning Board review and makes their comments, and then it comes back to the Town Council, which I believe is a June 7th meeting, to be further discussion if appropriate, and an adoption by the Council. So that will take care of this piece of property from
Excellent.
a redevelopment standpoint. Yep.
And how detailed of the plans will we know next week or when this gets aired, Tuesday on the 24th?
Doc, we hope next week to have our architect at the meeting next Tuesday to have what would be, quote, final, close quote, rendering, so to speak, for the review of the council and the public. We're extremely close. We have an idea essentially of the size and the scope. Okay. It hasn't pinned down to the everywhere, every wall will be right. It hasn't pinned down to that. And that even when you do commit to something, those are always subject to change orders and addendum in any construction project. So that's really, we're not going to let the tail wag the dog there. We have an overall rendering that we're comfortable with right now. And so, we're really looking forward to it.
Nice,
so
nice. Now that's this property. We also have the Hamilton property. It has to go through the same process.
Has to go through the same process, and what's important there is that we need to try and sync that up timing-wise, and really the threshold issue with respect to that is coming to a final date that we can agree to close the property, meaning we get the Hamilton property, the church gets the library property. Right. And so we're not going to do anything from a development standpoint there until that is accomplished.
Got it.
When I say development, I mean present to the planning board and move forward.
Because you don't have the property.
Correct. I mean, our township planner and our architect are ready to roll on that. Right. It's just a question of the other things taking place first. In addition to that, Doc, we're moving along with the Connell property.
Yeah, lots going on down there. We just talked about the hotel, but apparently some new things are also happening down there besides the hotel.
That's correct. The Connell Group has done extensive studies in this state and also nationwide with respect to really the future of large corporate parks. What's going to happen to them? And they've made a decision, as the Connells are wont to do after significant research and review, that's not really where this is going to go, particularly in the state.
Sure.
They're asking that one building area up there that was originally scheduled to be yet another office complex will be high-end residential apartments. So we've been which helps us again in our affordable housing situation. And
so a percentage of those will
that's correct. What they're doing, they have an unusual circumstance. They are going to put up nice residential apartments. I don't have the number yet. We haven't worked that out. But in addition, they do own some properties across the street up there at Plainfield, and we're going to get some group homes out of that. And
nice.
Group homes equal greater credits, really, from a standpoint of affordable housing. So it really puts us in a position where, as much as you can be in control, we feel we are in control, notwithstanding what the courts may or may not do tomorrow morning. So I think we're feeling pretty good about that.
And that's been agreed upon so far, or we're working on
well,
the
like
details?
I said, the memo of understanding will be dealt with very, very soon. Hopefully, our lawyers say it's very soon. And once you're there, well, that's a framework. So then we go from there. And in addition, kind of as a sidelight to the whole redevelopment thing, one of our citizens had filed a lawsuit against the township indicating...
Just one?
Just one, yeah. I don't know whether she was, she was doing so for a number of people, but her name was the only name on the caption. Alleging a conflict of interest among some of our council members. That was dismissed in a summary judgment motion by the court, which is really tantamount to the court saying you don't have a cause of action under any set of circumstances, not the least of which is if we just took your facts and accepted them, you don't have a cause of action.
So in other words, the lawsuit basically was impugning the integrity and character of the Township Committee or some of its officers, and the Township Committee and officers were found to be okay.
That's correct.
Performing at the highest level of integrity, I'd like to say, but at least a level of integrity that the courts found was appropriate.
In an overwhelming fashion, I think. The only downside to that is it cost the township $57,000.
Excuse me?
$57,000.
How could it cost $57,000? Someone just filed a lawsuit. What's the big deal?
Well, there was discovery, and then we prevailed in an initial motion, and then the court, the other side, our resident, Ms. Matula, took it up to the appellate division. The appellate division said, well, just take a couple more depositions. You just got to clean up the record a little bit. We did that. I think pretty much every member of the council was deposed, including myself.
Sure, sure.
And so that's up and down, and now you got to refile the motion. So
that's interesting. So
yeah.
These lawsuits just aren't a whim. If they are, they're very, very costly for the township.
Well, in particular, when the litigant is an attorney herself, so therefore she does not have to incur the kind of costs that we have to pay
when you're practicing or performing at a very high level of ethics, you make sure your T's are crossed and I's are dotted. So for the township, it's probably quite costly to defend.
It is,
simply
but
for that reason.
But this is an extremely important issue, and we are going to, anyone who brings an action that we think is inappropriate or we believe that we are in the right, then we are going to aggressively fight it.
Well, congratulations, kudos to the Township Committee, and thanks for doing what's right. We appreciate it. We're going to be talking about the parade tonight. That's really the big topic.
That's it.
We went over those important things that are coming up. I guess next month is big on the redevelopment, because we'll have all those.
I hope to have Mark.
I
hope to have Councilman Fasher on next month, because I think some significant things will occur between at this point in time and then, and I think it's a good time. And tonight, like we said, we have Ted Romanko and Dennis Ryan. Ted's going to talk about the memorial across the street and what we're going to do Memorial Day, and Dennis is going to talk about the parade.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
And for the mayor, Robert Woodruff, I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio, the Mayor's Roundtable. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. It's the Mayor's Roundtable, part 2 of the parade show, but part 1 parade guests. Ted Romankoff, thank you very much for coming out tonight. We appreciate it.
Pleasure, Doctor.
You have been instrumental in the memorial for Memorial Day, the Veterans Memorial, originally and in its restructuring, refurbishing, which is going to be unveiled this week at the parade. Tell us a little bit about the history of the whole structure down there.
Sure. Back in 1985, when I was mayor, we decided that the committee decided that we would rebuild the memorial, which was really just basically a one monument structure. And that particular monument was taken from the railroad tracks in the parking lot years before and placed across the street in Memorial Park. I appeared before the Township Committee about a year and a half ago and suggested that we improve that park. It had fallen in disrepair since 1987 when we opened the park. And the committee, through Mayor Woodruff, passed an ordinance which created a committee of 12 citizens to do something about it, including one of the council persons. From that point on, we created a plan. We jump-started it by having a baseball game between the police and the firemen. The county freeholders provided us with a $55,000 grant, which was very important. It was a matching grant, and I'm happy to say that I just submitted my last number of bills to the county, so we're going to be paid our full $55,000. At this point in time, over the course of the last year and a half, we've raised well over $130,000 in cash. I anticipate more coming in, and well over $30,000 in in-kind contributions. There have been donations from $1 up to $10,000.
Nice.
And we are very pleased to rebuild that park. During this time, the council passed a resolution changing the name of the park to Veterans Memorial Park. We're very happy about it. The park has been totally refurbished. It's totally rebuilt. New electrical wiring, new plumbing, a new wall, new lights. The flagpole is the only remaining structure I think that we've had there, and that was repainted. And I spent about an hour up on the top with a cherry picker that was provided by the county, trying to work with the repairman on it, and eventually it was repaired. So we're really pleased about this.
Very nice.
The Congressman Menendez sent us a flag that flew over the Capitol. We've heard from some of the people whose relatives had died in World War II. I just heard from one lady today, and we're very happy about that. What we're really doing, the whole reason for this is to honor in this case, the 8 men who died in World War II. We want to make sure that the public in Berkeley Heights remembers them. Unfortunately, their sacrifices many times are forgotten.
Sure.
And we're pleased to know that they're going to have their place in the memory of the hearts of people in Berkeley Heights.
Wonderful. So the current mayor with the former mayor kind of got together to make this happen.
Yeah, and there were some other councilmen and former mayors who joined Ted, and they'll all hopefully be around on Memorial Day. Ted, can you talk a little bit about the ceremony that we anticipate specific to the dedication of the property?
Mayor, one of the things, as you know, you're going to be doing is dedicating the park, the Veterans Park, which is significant in the history of Berkeley Heights because it is a focal point in our town. Sure. At that particular ceremony, we will also be honoring a veteran from the VFW post in Berkeley Heights. He will receive a quilt of valor, which has been donated by ladies from Westminster Church. They actually created a quilt, and it's a very special honor given to only quite a few thousand, but not very many veterans in the United States. He'll be receiving that award. I won't mention his name. It's a surprise at this point in time. We will be having, of course, the prayer of dedication. We'll talk a little bit about it. And one of the things that's really, I think, really nice about this, we're going to honor all the veterans who appear. We had a coin minted. It was a coin that was engraved, and it'll have a first portion of it. The first side will be a picture or an engraving of a fallen soldier, which is the statue that was donated by the Grand Marshal, who unfortunately passed away in late December. The VFW decided they would continue to honor him by having him named as the Grand Marshal, but these coins on the backside will have an engraving of the memorial itself.
Wonderful. So
we'll be handing those out to all the veterans who attend. That's our gift to them. And then there'll be other activities, as the mayor knows. There'll be speeches and a lot of good things that happen. But the main thing is that we want to honor those individuals who gave up not only their lives, but there were people who gave up time and a long time in their lives to serve our country. So it's a special day for us.
it's a special day for the whole country, and I think it's great that we're doing this. And in fact, you know, as this show is aired, people need to keep an eye on their mailboxes because they're getting something right now. Check your mailbox today, tomorrow, because what are they going to find, Ted?
Yeah, the committee decided that we would send out a mailing to advise all the residents in town that we're going to have this memorial. By the way, one of the things I think which is really interesting, the whole community took part in this. the high school football team started after the baseball game. They came out here in this room, and we handed them posters. They went out with the cheerleaders. We kind of got the football team in here because they knew the cheerleaders were coming.
It worked. It
And
worked.
the cheerleaders came because they knew the football players were coming. They went through the town. They spread the posters throughout the town. We know we've had local churches involved in this. We've had organizations, the Rotary, Chamber of Commerce. The whole town has come together for this.
Nice.
And it's been a wonderful experience.
And donations are still being accepted, I would assume.
Yes, we anticipate that we will continue to receive some donations because it's our hope that we have enough money to maintain this
That's the key.
particular memorial for years to come. Yes, we are still soliciting funds from the
And
township.
I know it's going to be in the flyer, but how, well, off the top of your head, do you have a web address or an email
Yeah, we do. We
address?
have
What would that be?
we have an address of bhmemorialpark.com. People can donate through PayPal. They can donate through a contribution directly to the township at 29 Park Avenue in Berkeley Heights.
Wonderful, wonderful. What do you think, Mayor?
Well, it's great, and congratulations to Ted and everyone who's involved. And these people worked hard, and they really did. And I think it kind of caught fire, and I think that it really took off when people saw that statue,
Yeah.
which is really an incredible monument. And again, we thank the late Vito Mondelli who had provided the funds necessary for that. And we're looking forward to it.
Nice.
And I think it's a big day for the town. As Ted says, we're recognizing those who should be recognized, and at the same time, we're really making it a memorial. It's something I think that the people will respect, and it should be respected. And again, kudos to all those who've done so much.
Ted, thank you very much. It's
Pleasure,
great.
Doctor.
It's
Pleasure.
important that we always remember, never forget, especially those who put their greatest sacrifice on the line, their lives. So that's what made this country. That's what's going to continue to make this country as long as we remember. We're going to take a short break. It is the parade show, but we have a little call out with the Rotary about what they're doing next month. So stay tuned, and then we'll be right back and finish up our parade show. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio for the Mayor's Roundtable. Well, if it's June, if it's Berkeley Heights, it must be rubber ducky time. That's right. The Rotary Club's rubber ducky races are coming up in June 2016. Linda Sauceville, president of the Rotary in town, when are this year's rubber ducky races?
This year it's June 11th from 12 to 4 at the Passaic River Park. We will be floating several thousand ducks down the river. They're taking the plunge. Each one is numbered. Get your ducky tickets. You can buy them right now. They're being sold around town, or you can get one day of.
Well, that's great. So find those ducks, buy them, bring them down, or get them that day. Now, I know you're going to be there selling ducks that day, Linda. What else is going to be happening that afternoon?
We have a car show. There's always food. There's a lot of fun. They have a dunk tank. They have games for kids. We get a lot of kids in strollers being pushed by grandparents and parents. There are scout craft going on. The two troops in town are heavily involved in this event, and they do scout things. We have a chef's cook-off this year, which I really don't know what's involved, but it sounds like it'll be fun. There's always food. Not-for-profits can come day of with a table and set up an exhibit and let us see what they're all about. We don't charge for them. We also have exhibitors who come, and they are very happy to come back. We have exhibitors who tell us that they have a better day at our rubber ducky race than they have at street fair.
Well, I can attest to that because I've been there, and it's a wonderful event. A lot of people come out. It's a fun time. It really is. Food's always excellent, and it's a great cause. The Rotary not only gives money locally, it gives money internationally, but the things you do with the scholarships in town, and you just did something fantastic with the rescue squad.
We purchased a new Recessa Annie. The other one was totally worn out. And she came with her own computer program so that they can really tell more about whether or not you're doing it correctly. And the Rotary Club will be CPR trained because of that.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. The life you saved may be mine, so please learn CPR. It's the Rubber Ducky Races, June 11th, 2016, right here in Berkeley Heights. Support the Rotary.
Thank you very much. See you there.
Welcome back to the show. It's the Mayor's Roundtable Parade Show. But we want to take a little step back and remember that the Rotary just talked about their event, the Rubber Ducky event. Look at all the things that happen in this town that give back to other people. We did the memorial for World War II about giving back, the Rubber Ducky. We had the Winter Fest, the Winter Walk, the Boy Scouts. There's so many things that are happening in town where people are giving back. It's a great community. Let's get involved, but now let's have some fun stuff. Our Memorial Day Parade, the chair of the event for, what, 15 years?
Chair of the event for 8 years
8
right now. I've
years,
been part of
okay.
the committee for 20.
Well, Dennis, thank you for coming tonight. Glad to have you. Mayor, we have the chairman of the parade here, so what are we going to throw him down with?
Well, you know what? I'd ask Dennis, because he's had 20 years of experience doing this. Dennis, if you just give us a little historical reference, if you would, to you know, what's it take to put this parade together?
Okay. Well, I've been doing this with the committee for about 20 years. I originally got
I knew there was a 20 in there somewhere, Dennis. All right, you saved me. Thanks.
That's okay. But I originally got involved because of the fact that I wanted to spend some more time participating in the town's honoring of the veterans. I don't think we had done that enough, and I think the committee at the time was really taking a nice, strong look at what the veterans have done for us and for the town and for our country. So I wasn't able to serve in the military myself because of some health reasons, but in looking at my father's service and the men that he was working with at the VFW, I said, I want to be more involved in this. So I volunteered for the committee a number of years ago, and after some evolution of the committee itself, I took over as chairman about 8 years ago. We normally gather in February. We have a number of people who have been regular participants in the committee. We also have an open floor where we can bring in new people all the time, and we have one or two people who will join us every year. We have a couple of new people this year. And we work to put together the parade. We have a framework from what we do in the past with the units that have marched and also the field program we put together. And then we just adjust it per year. We adjust it a little bit, maybe based on current events. We'll adjust it based on the particular Grand Marshal for the year. And there are a few special things that we're doing this year because of the circumstances that we're
Tell us about those. What's going to be a little different this year?
Okay. Well, one of the things that we have going, as Ted had indicated, was that we do have a posthumous Grand Marshal. Vito Mondelli was asked, apparently several years, if he would be willing to be the Grand Marshal. And for different reasons, he was unable to do it. But this year, he did say that he would be happy to serve as Grand Marshal for the parade. But as Ted indicated, unfortunately, he did pass away after accepting that honor. But the VFW would like to continue and go forward and grant him the honor of presenting that Grand Marshal role to him. Now, that's going to change a few things because normally we have a speech by the Grand Marshal, introduction by the mayor, but obviously that won't work quite the same this year. So this year we're going to have one of the members of the VFW will be introducing and giving some honor to Vito, giving a little bit about his service record, a little bit about his Berkeley Heights record, and just doing what they can to talk about him then. When we get a little bit further into the field program, we'll be moving into the one-time insertion of the Veterans Memorial Park dedication. So as again, Mayor, you will be doing the introduction of the park and the dedication, followed by a couple of additional events at that point in time. And part of that would be, again, bringing up Vito and the statue that he donated, and that will continue that. And we're going to have a nice little musical tribute at the end of that section, which will be coming from some of the students of Governor Livingston High School, called the Governor Livingston Jazz Choir. And they're going to do a little musical tribute called American Heroes, which will sing a little bit about each of the branches of the service, and then I believe they finish up with America the Beautiful. That'll be the wrap of that particular thing.
Now, is it going to be where it usually held the ceremony, or is there going to be some changes with that as well?
Because of the work that's being done in the field over there, unfortunately, we'll not be able to do it right up by the monuments where we normally have it.
Grass is still isn't set yet.
It's not ready to have a couple thousand people come out and walk on it. So what we're actually going to do, and the decision was made earlier today, is that we'll be able to close off Plainfield Avenue for about an extra hour. Normally, Plainfield Avenue is closed off from the time when the marching units come off Springfield Avenue and come up Plainfield. But once they all arrive at the monuments, then Plainfield Avenue is reopened. This year, Plainfield Avenue will remain closed for an additional hour, and the dedication ceremony, including the podium, will be moved out to the corner, which will give people the opportunity to sit on both Plainfield and Park Avenue on the street rather than on the grass. And we'll do our celebration right there, go through all of the program that we're looking at.
Yeah, so people traveling there, if you live in the area, make a mental note. The Plainfield Park are going to be blocked for a little bit longer than usual. So, plan accordingly.
Dennis, our recreation department gets involved quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Can you talk a little bit about that? If you
Tom Barton, as the chairman of the recreation department, heads up not just the different sports events in town, but he heads up a particular committee called the Special Events Committee. The Special Events Committee covers a lot of different things over the course of the year, and one of those events is the Memorial Day Parade. And there's the different things. There's the Christmas tree lighting, and I'm not even sure what else he's doing this year. I know we've
summer concerts.
Summer concerts,
summer
the block
concert series,
party, all those
yeah.
things.
We've done the block party in the past. We've
Party,
done the neighborhood things. So, but busy recreation department. Tom does a great job in pulling that together.
And,
It's nice to see the municipal offices communicating with the volunteer offices. I think that's great.
And remember also that I assume at the conclusion of the festivities, we'll have the hot dogs and.
We will have food.
That's a must. You got to have the hot dogs.
As usual, it's great to have a wonderful, wonderful ceremony to honor the veterans. So we're encouraging everybody to participate in that ceremony. And then after that, we will open up the Memorial Park over there, the paved-in area for. We're going to have Rita's Italian ice. We're going to have hot dogs. We're going to have. I think we've got the popcorn. We've got
All the good stuff.
birch beer. We've got all sorts of stuff there.
So
And,
we want
it's
you to
all
come and
headed up by
support the event, honor our veterans, but it's okay to have a meal with them too, right?
Yeah,
have a
Dennis,
little, a
Dennis,
little
let me ask you,
socialization.
Let's and let's face it, this is about volunteerism. It's just another portion of our community who step up. If someone wants to get involved, they want to become a part of this committee. How do they get in touch with you or Tom Barton? How do they do it?
The easiest thing would be to get in touch with Tom Barton at the Recreation Commission. He'll pass on information to me. He gave me a folder last night with a number of different groups that are going to be marching. We have a couple of new groups that will be marching with us this year. And we would encourage any group in town that would like to participate, especially in the parade itself. Get in touch with Tom. We'll get you into the parade. We don't print the program until 2 days before, so we can still make things work.
Well, this program's going to get on just about then, so call Tom Barton right away and get involved with the parade. It's been the parade show. It's been a great show. Dennis Ryan, chair for 8 years, longtime contributor to the parade committee. Thank you. We appreciate it because it is about people getting involved. Get involved with the parade. Come down and participate. 9:30 on Memorial Day. Get involved and stay for some food. Mayor, any closing comments on our parade show?
No, I think this is, again, anytime we can, recognize our volunteers, we need to do it.
And our veterans.
And,
I
well,
love that
obviously, and our
concept.
veterans. And that park across the street is just an amazing, occurrence in this town. And I noticed that the plaques are all shined up and they're all back in their places. So we might be able to have this parade tomorrow. It looks like we're ready,
Well,
but
it's going
we'll
to
wait.
wait till Memorial Day.
We'll wait till Memorial Day.
For the mayor, Robert Woodruff, for the parade committee, Dennis Ryan, Ted Romankov, I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio for the Mayor's Roundtable. Thanks for tuning in. And in Berkeley Heights, we remember, and we're going to keep it that way. We'll see you on the next show.